Hi everyone, Ashley here with Cassidy.
Hi.
And we are here because we are talking about a very important subject.
Yeah.
That we both went through at the same time, and so that's why I thought that we should film this video together. But the title of this video is Tips for Getting Over a Breakup. So if you're watching this and you just broke up with somebody, I'm really sorry. You'll make it through.
We did.
We did!
So, tip number 1. Don't go through it alone.
Yep. Don't go through a breakup alone, meaning have your friends there with you.
As a support system.
Yep. So when I broke up with my boyfriend, I broke up with him, but I was still heartbroken. But Cassidy and my other best friend from YWAM, Mackenzie, they were right there with me.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have done it without them, so.
Yeah. And I also went through my breakup during YWAM. I did the breaking up, but it was still super tough, and so I had community around me, which made me not be able to mope around. I still had to work through it, but just having people in everyday life definitely helped me get over it a lot faster than if I was all by myself.
I know, having other people around you to help you heal and just to, I remember also I talked to Mackenzie on the phone. Shout out to Mackenzie.
I can!
But yeah, I talked to her on the phone when I was crying, and I never cry, and she was needed for that time. So don't do it alone. Don't feel ashamed. Always go to people who are loving, and they will definitely help you heal.
Yeah.
So the second tip we have is, this one's really important. We were supposed to say this one first.
Oh crap!
Okay. So the second tip we have, which actually should be number 1, but we accidentally said it second, is to turn to the Lord. Obviously do this first. I don't know why we have it second, but so what we mean by turn to the Lord is to pretty much, sometimes when you go through a breakup and it's really hard, the only thing that can really help is God to help you through it. And like, I know for me, I went right to the Bible, and like the scriptures really helped me, like a lot. Like, I'm telling you, I was reading Job. Remember I called you?
Job.
And that's actually a really hard book, but there are really good pieces of like little gold nuggets in there of hope. And so just clinging onto that hope and to the Lord really got me through. What about you?
I would say the same. I definitely, anytime I was like hurting or angry or upset, I'd just be like, God, like I need you, like take this from me, like I'm weak, like I just need you right now.
Yep.
And then too, I went to Ashley actually.
Aww.
And she showed me a couple verses just with dealing with like suffering and pain. Just like how to get over that, and forgiveness of course. And yeah, definitely like clinging to those verses and just taking everything to God helped me.
Amen. Yeah, turning to God even in prayer and just talking to him and asking him why, or like begging for healing, or saying how long, or like just being real and open and honest with God. And that healed me so much, more than anything on the world or friends or anybody could have ever healed me more than turning to the Lord did.
Yeah. Number 3. Basically this one we wrote replacing thoughts with Bible verses. So basically I did a little research on the mind. Woo! And if you're like trying not to think about something, you're still thinking about it. So if it's like you broke up with somebody, they broke up with you, and you're like, I don't want to think about them, you're still thinking about them by not thinking about them. So one of the ways to overcome that is just replacing those thoughts with different Bible verses. So every time you're thinking about that person, or like wishing that you were still together, or questioning things, just like taking a solid Bible verse. And when you have that thought about them, just meditating on that Bible verse over and over again in your head.
Girl, preach it. I did this too. I had the same issue, and I would get so mad at myself every day because I just kept thinking about him or the breakup or what went wrong, what I could have done better. And every time that thought came up, I had a Bible verse ready to punch it out of my head. So the next one we have is cutting soul ties. And that sounds a little scary. Just cut it off, okay? No, I'm just kidding. Cutting soul ties, pretty much what that means is getting rid of any memories, pictures, letters, clothing, like any physical thing or like anything that is still connecting you to that person, cutting it off.
Yeah.
So like I deleted all the pictures off my phone and got rid of the bracelets, and just, you gotta do that. You gotta just let go.
Yeah. And another thing with that too is praying with somebody, just like praying things off, especially if you did go farther in the relationship than you wanted to. You just want to pray to cut yourself off from that person because you don't want things still connecting you.
Amen.
Emotionally, physically, in any sense.
So true. Shout out to Courtney for praying with us.
Hi, Courtney!
The next one we have is to grieve. So take that time to be sad because it's okay. Like you just went through a breakup. You can be sad. You can cry. I think that's good. But there's a but here. Don't live in that sadness forever, for months, for years. I would say do that sadness, get the sadness out, and once that's over with, move on. Like, keep chugging along, keep going. And even in the hard days, the pain and all that, keep looking forward, keep looking towards the Lord to get through. And don't just like sit in that sadness day after day after day.
Yeah, going through a hardship, like there definitely is like a grieving process. Like I definitely went through different stages of sadness and anger and peace, and then it would like repeat itself. But yeah, it was just making myself not stay in that place of like constant sadness, like making myself get up and move and go do things so that I wasn't just sitting there and thinking about it over and over and over again.
Amen to that.
Oh yeah. Number 6. This one is forgiveness, which I feel like in any breakup, no matter either whether you're the person who got broken up with or doing the breaking up, there's still forgiveness that has to occur. Both forgiving the other person and also forgiving yourself. Because I know in my specific relationship that I got out of, God was the one who was like motioning me towards the breakup, so I was still attached, but it was definitely the best thing to do. But because of that, like it definitely hurt, and like different things, like we had issues that we hadn't worked through, so going through that breakup process basically brought up everything that we never worked through. So I had to forgive him for a bunch of things that happened, and also forgive myself for not confronting issues and basically staying in the relationship way longer than I should have.
Amen. So. Can I relate to that? Because heck yeah, I feel like I had to forgive myself, and that was like a really hard journey to go through, because there were so many days where I would be tempted to believe the lie, like you messed up, and just to sulk in that, and like I had to forgive myself, and it can happen. Sometimes it just takes a little time. Either way, forgiving them or yourself. And just like remembering that when you do hold on to bitterness and you're not forgiving that person, and you're just angry and you're mad at that person, after time it starts to hurt you way more than it hurts the other person. The other person could be moved on, living their life, but you're over here still holding on to that bitterness, and it's only going to bring you down. So it sometimes is needed to just let go and forgive. So easier said than done.
Yeah, definitely use your southern men, but God can help you with that.
Yes, pray for that.
Since I had to, like, go through forgiveness, I kept saying, like, God, like, help me to forgive, like, help me to let go.
Yeah.
And, yeah, just forgive. But one thing that I found, too, is, like, it's easy to say, like, oh, I've already forgiven them, because you can say, I forgive you, or in your mind say that you already forgave them. But for me, it was definitely a process, like, months until, like, I could definitely say for sure that I had forgiven him. Because, like, when I would think about him, I would just get angry or sad. But I would say I completely forgave him once I got to the point of, like, when I think about him, like, I'm fine. There's nothing holding me there.
Yeah, amen to that. Oh my God. Yeah, definitely pray and ask for definitely ask God for help, because this is something that I feel like on our own we would, like.
Yeah, you just kind of brush it off, like,
The next point is point 7, and this point is closure. So I didn't have closure for how many months? Like 4 or 5.
Quite a few months.
Probably 4.
Definitely a lot of months.
Yeah, I didn't have closure for a while. And when you don't have closure with that person, you can't move on.
Yeah.
You're kind of just stuck in that place of, will I be with them? Like, where are they at? Like, will we ever get together one day? Like, you just don't have that peace of being able to kind of like cutting soul ties, letting go, going your separate way. Because when you don't have closure, you're just always stuck in the mud. But once I finally got closure, man.
Yeah, she was just like completely at peace.
Yeah.
That's one good way to know that you have closure.
Yep.
It's just being, like, when you're in God's will and, like, it was, like, his plan for the relationship to not last, like, you just feel like a complete peace. For me, it was different because I got closure right when I did the breaking up.
Oh, baby.
Which was really good. Like, I didn't have closure up until that front. Like I said, God was the one motioning me, and I didn't understand until, like, I actually, like, broke it off. And then it was after I broke it off that I had complete peace, even though you really wouldn't have thought that I would have, but I was, like, so at peace that I was, like, laughing and, like, just, yeah, it was interesting.
Peace, and it was good to get
complete peace.
Closure and then heal from it.
Yeah, and, like, this, like, peace, like, it was, like, okay, like, I knew this was what I was supposed to do, I was in God's will, and then, like, everything else came later, like, the whole, like, going through the breakup process and, like, getting over him, like, came later. But, like, it was, like, in that moment, I had closure, I had peace that, like, I wasn't supposed to be with him anymore.
Yeah, and I'd say for the this point of closure, like, if you're wondering, like, how do I get closure if you're stuck? Communication.
Yeah.
Because I don't think closure happens without communication.
Yeah.
Unless it happens in a way that's really hard. For example, like, seeing the other person moved on social media or something. But, like, the biggest and best way for closure with another person is communication. And it's just going to them with an honest and open heart and saying, where are you at? Like, this is where I'm at. What should we do? And if you don't, you did it good. But, like, if you don't do that, then you're going to be stuck. And that's not a good place to be in.
Yeah, for me too, like, I had peace in that moment, but we did talk 1 week after the breakup just because we had to, like, figure out, like, if we were still going to be friends, if we were still going to talk, like, pray about it and see what God was leading us to. So that in itself, like, the breakup, yes, was closure, like, I knew I wasn't supposed to be with him, but then we also needed to figure out, like, what the future was going to look like. And basically we decided to not talk, because it is hard to be friends with somebody that you were with and had a connection to. That definitely makes it a lot harder to go then.
Yeah. Oof. That's a good point. We didn't even really write that down, but it just came out. Okay.
Point number 8, we say to look at the positives, because in any trial or hardship, in this sense, breakups, there are positives that come out of it. like looking back on like my past relationship, like I definitely learned a lot through that. Like I learned patience. I learned a lot about myself. I learned who I wanted to be and like who I didn't want to be, and yeah, basically that I need to be myself.
I learned that too.
Because it is hard, like when you're with somebody, like you just want to be perfect all the time. You want to look the best, like personality perfect, but like if you can't be yourself around that person, you shouldn't be with them, because when you're in a relationship, it should be for the rest of your life. Like a dating relationship should be, you shouldn't just date just to date. So if you're dating somebody, you should have, not like in the, it doesn't matter, but in the future, like maybe marriage.
Yep.
And if you can't be yourself around that person, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, that's true. And like, so for this point, like looking at the positives, in that moment of you breaking up with that person, especially if you're heartbroken, it's so easy to think like it just to be all sad, all negatives, like you wanted to be with this person forever but it didn't work out, and like that is really hard. But there are so many positives in this. For example, God works everything out for the good, and the reason why you broke up with this person, God did that for a reason, and God has really good plans for you, and he loves you, and he already knew this was going to happen, and everything's just working out in his will and his timing. But you just really got to trust him, and he loves you and wants the best for you. And so maybe this person that you were with, maybe it just isn't in God's plan for you, and that's okay, because God has something better for you. You just got to keep looking at the bright side and at the positives. So
yeah. And then 2, you have more time with the Lord.
That's a positive.
For sure. Yeah, and definitely, like we said earlier in this video, just to lean on God basically for everything and to help with the healing process. My relationship with God definitely went so much deeper after my breakup, because I constantly had to be relying on him and like asking him for strength, because on my own I was so weak and so broken. But God definitely did like a restoring process in me, which helped us get a lot closer.
Amen. So we're at 20 minutes. Whoa! And I'm like, yeah, it won't be more than 10. No, that's okay. We hope you guys really enjoyed these points. Yeah. These points really helped us through our breakups. I'm sorry that you're going through a breakup if you are. And I just hope and pray that the Lord would heal your heart quickly, and that you would just be able to see that God works everything out for the good. Because you are really loved and cherished by God.
Yeah.
So,
I have a side note.
Yes.
If God's motioning you to break up with somebody, trust me, he has your best interest in mind.
Oh, yeah.
His plans and purposes are better for your life than your own. I can attest to that.
I can attest to that too.
And side note number 2.
Oh gosh.
Don't ever hold on to somebody because you think there isn't somebody else out there. Never settle.
Amen. A to the men.
God has somebody perfect for you. Somebody better than you could ever imagine for yourself.
If God is leading you and guiding you in your heart to do something, specifically break up with this boy, break up with him. All right? Plainly. I just said it plainly for you. Right now, turn your computer off, your phone, go break up with them, because you gotta obey that little voice in your heart. And I should have listened a lot sooner than I did. So,
me too.
That's okay, because that happened, because now we can sit here and help you. As long as you watch till 22 minutes. You did your job. Yay! All right, I guess that's all we have for today. I love you guys, and thank you so much for watching, and hit that subscribe button if you like these videos. Bye, guys.
Bye. Nice meeting you.
Wow, we look so cute.